Hello everyone, and welcome to another Wavelength series. My name is Waveney and I'm your leadership mindset coach, and I help new managers master their mindset, their communication, and their influence. Now, are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Fabulous. I have missed you. It has been a while. Let me first start off by saying that I have missed you. You know, a few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, someone came up to me and she said, you know, I've been looking at your videos and I really miss them. Because I hadn't done any in a while. She said, I really miss them and I'd like for you to speak on the topic of burnout, stress, that sort of thing. So stay tuned. That is a topic that I will bring to you. But I miss you guys. I miss you. I miss creating these videos. I miss sharing and teaching. And so today, when I was preparing for this video and, you know, thinking about what I would want to share with you, I thought about the People's brand, what it stands for. Many of you have been following me. Some of you probably will stumble upon this video, but I wanted to share something that is personal to me. It's something that I incorporate in the People's brand. It is a framework that is incorporated into the frameworks in which I teach, and so I thought that it would be something that I can share today that has changed my life, and I know will change your life as well. Something fell. Right? And so I wanted to come on here and share this with you. And it is really about a belief. Now, beliefs are powerful. They are extremely powerful. Beliefs are the reason why you do what you do. Beliefs drive thought. Beliefs drive action. Beliefs drive behavior. Beliefs drive your belief drive everything that is going on in your life. Like, you can never outgrow or operate or on a level that is beyond what you believe, right? The fact that you are looking at the People's brand, even that person who came up to me and, you know, said she was looking at the videos, she really enjoyed them. There's something about what she believes, why she's looking at the People's brand. And so it could be something as simple, and it's not really simple because beliefs are powerful. It could be something like she believes in her personal development, she believes in growth, she wants more from her for herself. And so the People's brand is where she finds that personal growth, and it could be among other things. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you today about beliefs, and this is a powerful belief. I'm going to share that belief in a minute, and then I'll walk you through how it resonated and clicked for me. So the belief is this: I believe leadership is a platform, and you use that platform to leave your legacy. So leadership is a platform that you use to leave your legacy. Now, I know that it sounds very simple, but think about it. Your role as a leader, your role as a manager, your role as a supervisor. I use those two terms interchangeably, by the way. Leader and manager. Leader, right? Your role, that role is a platform. A platform is an elevated structure, right? And as a leader, you are elevated, right? Because you have more responsibility. I'm not saying that you're better than anyone else, right? But you have certain responsibilities. You are most likely getting paid more. You are, you have certain authority given to you. You can make certain decisions. You are at an elevation. And so you have that platform. And whether you are conscious of it or not, you're using that platform to leave a legacy. Now, when you think about legacy is, when you think about it, it's like an inheritance. It's something that you leave behind, and it's usually something positive. But here's the kicker. If you are in a leadership role and you are not intentional, or you're really not working on yourself, your legacy will be tainted, right? Your legacy will be tainted. And for me, that is a powerful belief. When you think about that, you can pull that belief in every area of your life. Any area applied to any area of your life, and it is very powerful. Because if you think about your platform, if you think about what you do, and if you think about the fact that you use your platform, right? If you use your platform in the right way, to leave a legacy, your life will be changed and the way you do things will be changed. So let me explain to you how I arrived at this belief and how it became a part of me. So back in 2020, I started the People's Brand in 2018, but back in 2020 during COVID and all of that, I decided that I wanted to niche down. And I decided that I would focus on new managers. At the time, I was conducting interview prep classes, but I was also doing some coaching. Coaching persons who had jobs. I was coaching a university student. I had a few clients, and I really enjoyed that. And there were some things coming up, situations they would share with me, so forth and so on. And when I decided to niche down, I decided to focus on new managers, people who were new in a management role, or who wanted, or aspiring managers, people who wanted to get into management. And so that was my niche, new managers. If you go on any of my bios, you will on social media, you will hear me talk about new managers. If you go on websites, it doesn't mean, by the way, that someone who is in management for a while can't get something from it. But the reason I decided to focus on new managers is because they are at a risk. New managers are at a risk. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure I have everything. I remember my experience with two managers. Two managers always stand out. There are many, right? But two managers always stand out at the beginning of my career. The first person was when I had my first job, and I had a manager, and she was awful. She was not helpful. I would ask a question, she would answer the question with a question. She was not very nice, right? I remember her. I remember feeling I didn't want to go to work, right? I didn't want to go to work. It was a tough time. But some leaders do that to people, right? And then I remember this other manager when I got into hospitality. You've heard me speak about him many times on this platform. His name is Fernando, and he provided a great experience. As a matter of fact, he set the tone for me, the foundation for me being an HR professional, right? He set that tone for me. Last night, I was with some friends of mine, and one of them started in HR with me, and she even brought up the fact, she said, Wave, remember when Fernando had us remembering everybody's name? Because we were talking about someone, and she rattled off the person's first name and last name, and she was like, I don't even remember the guy, but I remember the name because Fernando had us remember everybody's name. And I'm digressing a bit, but his thing was, you're in HR, you're supposed to know people's name, you're supposed to know how to pronounce them correctly. It doesn't matter if it's a Spanish name, it's another name, and we're in an English speaking territory. He wasn't about that, and I am thankful for that. But anyway, I decided to niche down because of those reasons, because new managers are at a risk, and I wanted to help set the foundation for those new managers. Now, where does my belief come in, right? My belief came in because a few years ago, Oprah was ending her final show. Oprah was ending her final show, and she spoke about using her platform. She said, she gave this speech, you could look it up on the internet. She gave this speech and she said, every day I came into your homes, I came into your lives, I used this platform. And she was talking about how she used television, because at that time there were the Maury's and the Jerry Springers, and people were bringing people on TV to share a secret. I'm sure, everybody knows those type of shows were very, very popular in the 90s and stuff like that, right? But she had a vision, and she wanted to use her platform for good, to be a force for good. And she changed, her show was widely popular, and she changed the whole trajectory. But what she was saying is that, I have this platform, but you also have a platform. Your platform, your life is your platform. Your life is your sphere of influence, right? And you could be a teacher, and you could be, a nurse, a policeman, whatever. Those are the exact professions she named out, by the way. But she said that in each and every way you could use your platform, and that just really resonated with me in such a deep way, that resonated with me, that hey, I could use my platform, right? I was a manager at the time. I could use my platform for good. I do have influence, right? And so I wanted to, when I thought about niching down, and I thought about that, the fact that new managers are at risk, and I thought about this belief that resonated with me, this thing that Oprah said, she communicated, and it resonated with me, that became a belief. I wanted to infuse that into the people's brand, and I wanted it to become a part of the foundational work that I teach within my coaching with my clients. And so let me share with you a few statistics that I got off the internet about new managers. So as a new manager, when I get excited and passionate, I trip over my words at times. So there's this company called Gartner. It's a research institute, and they do training and all that. But they said that there's a 60% failure rate among new managers within the first 24 months, right? Another company said 60%. They did some research, they did a poll, a survey, and 60% of the new managers said they had not received any training, right? 57% employees leave their job because of their manager. And this is something that I tell people don't leave companies, they leave managers, right? They leave managers because the company could be, the company, but it's the people that make the difference. Your manager makes the difference, your leader makes the difference. And you would agree with that. I know you would agree with that. 84% of poorly trained managers, they did some research, and 84% of poorly trained managers create unnecessary work stress. And I'm sure you've had that experience. I have had that experience. And I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's not easy. And so back to my point where I'm telling you and I'm sharing, sorry, with you that leadership is a platform, and it's a platform by which you leave your legacy. That is how I came to that belief, right? How are you using your platform? Your life is your platform. Your role is your platform. What you do is your platform. If you are a mom, right? If you're a mom, a teacher, whatever, whomever, you're a student, you stumble across this, your life, your role is your platform. How are you using it? How are you using your platform? That is a question. And what legacy are you leaving behind? No, I was either listening or reading uh, an article a few years ago, and the article said something, and I'm sorry that I didn't save it, but it said something to the effect, and it asked a question, it posed this question: what are the people, your employees, are the people who work for you, right? What are their family members, what are their friends saying and thinking about you as their leader? And let me say it again. What does your friend, what do your friends, and what do your family think about your leader, your boss, right? What do they think about them? And the reason why I bring this up is to show you that you are not, as a leader, you are not just impacting the people that you lead, the people that report to you. You are also impacting those that are closest to them. So if you think about my belief that leadership is a platform and you use it to leave your legacy, what you're leaving behind is not just the people that you manage. It's all those other people. It's that sphere of influence that you have. You know, one of the persons that I share, at the time of this video, I am working my 9 to 5, right? I'm still in my 9 to 5. And one of the persons that I share my day with is my mom. As a matter of fact, most days, as soon as I leave work, I call her, right? I call her because I don't see her every day, so I call her to connect, to find out how she's doing. And I speak to her about the challenges that I have. And I speak to her, and my mom it's not just me who is affected. So when something good happens to me at work, I'm not the only one who is affected. My mom is also affected because she feels good, she feels proud of me. And when something is happening to me at work, right, that is challenging, she too is also affected. Oh my goodness, my battery seems like it wants to die. My battery seems like it wants to die. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna charge it up a bit, and then I am going to continue this. Let me stop this right now. Okay, so I am back. Let me just kind of check here. All right, great. So I am back. I had to charge my battery. It's funny. Yesterday I recorded this message. When I tried to edit it, why is it that part of the video you could not hear my voice? Like, it was absolutely crazy. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I decided that I would do the video again. I said, you know what, second time's a charm. It has happened to me before. I create a reel or do a video and it doesn't come out the way I want, or I lose it and I have to do it again. And I've always found that the second time around is great. So anyway, this message is meant to be out in the world. So anyway, I was saying previously that you don't just, as a manager, as a leader, you just don't impact the people immediately close to you in the work environment. You are also impacting those who are closest to them. And I was given the example of my mom and me and so forth. And if you think about it, from your standpoint, your life, you would realize that this is true, that this is so. Things that happen to you impact the people who are closest around you. These are the people in your sphere of influence. So your life is your platform. You have to use your sphere of influence well. And so what I want to share with you is some things that happen in the workplace, some the ways that some managers and some leaders show up. So managers and leaders use their platform, they don't use it well. I believe that the work is you. You really have to work on you as a leader, because when you work on you, your success is inevitable. It is guaranteed, right? But when you don't work on you, you use your platform, you misuse and abuse sometimes the platform that you have been given. And these are some ways that people show up. Sometimes they show up, many times they show up as children who are, emotionally immature. As a child growing up, you are emotionally immature. You can't control your emotions. Sometimes children act out, and it's because they are going through that phase. But I have found that many adults, leaders that I have worked with, they are still emotionally immature. So some ways this shows up: deliberately leaving you out of communication. I have had that happen to me. So if you've ever had the situation, sometimes there are leaders that leave you out of communication deliberately, right? They don't copy you on emails, they don't tell you about meetings, and even much, I feel like this is sort of much worse. Everybody gets invited somewhere except you. And people have the right to have their own friends and what have you. I'm not talking about that. There's a balance in that. But just leaving you out, excluding you, spiting and being manipulative. Many times leaders spite people. A common one is their personal time off. So you want time and they don't give you that time, or you've been planning something, you communicate, they want to take it back. That's a key way. There are many ways, but that's a key way people spite persons. Gossiping about you to the people who report to you, to the people, your peers, to your boss, to your boss's boss. Like, it's not a nice thing. Avoiding conflict. There's some people that avoid conflict. I don't know anybody who loves conflict, right? Who loves conflict. But as a leader, you have to learn how to address it, because if it goes unchecked, it's just a disaster. And this is unfortunately how people use their platform. So gossiping, avoiding conflict, and of course offering no support. If you think about it through the lens of what I've been sharing with regards to the belief that leadership is a platform, and you use this platform to leave your legacy, you would realize that people misuse their platform. And so my hope and prayer and intention for you by watching this video is for you to really walk away thinking about that belief, thinking about your platform, your life, your sphere of influence, because you are not just impacting the person that you lead, the persons, but you're also impacting their friends, their families, the people who are closest to them. It is a ripple effect. When you start looking at leadership through that lens, how am I using my platform? What type of legacy do I want to leave behind? You are going to show up very, very different. And it's not to say that you're not going to make a mistake. Mistakes do happen, right? The mistake is really set in stone when you don't do anything to correct it, right? But it's about looking at what you're doing, reflecting each day. Reflection is such a powerful tool. Looking at reflecting on how are you using your platform? Are you using it to be a force for good? Are you using it to transform and empower people? As a leader, you do have authority. Many leaders, they have the authority to push somebody's career forward or to keep them back. How are you using that? When there is an opportunity or the opportunity arises to big up somebody, as we say, or recommend them for a role, are you doing that? Or do you remember that one time they did something that you didn't like and now you're going to use the opportunity to spite them, right? What are you doing with that? So how are you using your platform? Are you using your role to be a force for good, right? Are you doing that? And being a force for good doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect 24/7. It just means that you're going to be consistent in your leading, that people know what to expect, right? They know what to expect. Are you going to accept personal responsibility for your growth and development and for those times that you make a mistake, or are you going to blame it? All of this plays into the belief that leadership is a platform and that you use your platform to leave a legacy. And lastly, it's about connection. How are you using that platform? How are you connecting with people? How are you connecting with humanity? Are you being empathetic? Are you truly getting to know the people that you lead? It doesn't mean getting to know doesn't mean that you're all up in their business, but it means that you are getting to know them in such a way you get to know what's important to them. You get to know what their career aspirations are. I always say that we are not different people. So you don't have a personality one way at home and one way at work. Yes, at work you may be a little bit more professional, but you are the same person. You bring yourself into each and every environment, and that is why when people try to pretend, it doesn't really work, because after a while, how long can you really pretend, right? But it's about you being authentic, you using your platform, you using your role. It's not just for you, right? Leadership isn't just because, okay, I've achieved this, I have this office, I'm getting more money, I get to tell people what to do, and you've arrived, as my mom would say, you've arrived, and that's just it. I believe that we're here to serve people. I believe leadership is something that is entrusted to us. I believe it's a calling. Like, if you are granted that position, and I know I sound really, really deep, but I believe that. And the reason why I believe that is because of that belief that it is a platform. It's almost like, it's the same thing I believe, not almost, but it's the same way I believe about teachers. educators, right? And nurses and doctors. Let's take, for example, teaching. Teachers are so important. The educators are so important. Imagine you have the opportunity to mold someone's life. You are shaping the way they think and feel about themselves and how they view their world, and you get to help them think critically. You help them to become good citizens. How are you using that platform? It's the same thing with leadership. People are in your care. You work for a company, yes, but people are in your care. People report to you. How are you using that? Are you using it to be a force for good? Are you supporting? Are you providing resources? Are you removing roadblocks? Removing roadblocks? Are you holding them accountable? Right? Accountability, again, doesn't have to be something bad. Accountability just means that you are sharing with people where they went wrong or what have you, right? And what they can do to correct it. You're holding them responsible, and accountability, they go hand in hand. I'm digressing, right? Are you providing reward and recognition? How are you using that when there is an opportunity for you to move the needle, for you to open that door, for you to lift them up? Are you doing that? Your leadership is a platform, and it is a platform that you're using your legacy. How are you using that platform, and what will your legacy be? That is a question. So thank you for spending time for me today. That's it. We've come to the end of another wavelength. Drop me a DM, drop me a message, and let me know if this resonated with you. Send me a WhatsApp. Let me know. I'm on I am on social media, so let me know how you feel about this podcast, and let me know if this is a belief that you will be incorporating in your life as well. I guarantee you it will change the way you show up. Bye.